Have you ever wondered what really separates the most successful people from everyone else? Well, it's not about luck, and it's definitely not magic. It's a playbook. And here's the crazy part. When you look at how world-class performers plan for success, you realize they're all running plays from the very same one.
No, really, just think about that for a second. What if you could stop just hoping or wishing for a great year and instead you actually had a system to make it happen? A proven system that guarantees you make real progress on the things that matter most to you.
That's the secret right there. People like Tony Robbins, Dave Ramsey, Amy Porterfield, they don't just cross their fingers and hope for the best. They have a set of best practices, a sequence of strategies they use to literally design their future. And that's exactly what we're going to break down right here, right now.
So, Part 1. The playbook begins in a place you might not expect. It doesn't start by looking ahead, it starts by looking back. You know, before you can build anything great, you have to lay the right foundation. And that foundation, it's built on a crystal clear understanding of where you've just been.
So strategy number 1 is an active process. It's all about reflection. For example, leadership expert John Maxwell, he blocks out the entire last week of the year just to review his calendar. And Tony Robbins? He goes over his journal of what he calls magic moments to find patterns of success.
And that quote from John Maxwell just nails the key difference, doesn't it? It's not just reflection, it's evaluated reflection. See, anyone can remember what happened last year, but a high achiever, they actively analyze it to pull out the wisdom for the year ahead. Experience is one thing, but insight, that's the real gold.
Okay, so as you're reflecting, it's so easy to get stuck on what went wrong, right? High achievers, they do the exact opposite. Jeff Walker says he always focuses on his wins first, to get himself into a positive state of mind. It's all about building on your strengths and celebrating your progress to create momentum, not getting bogged down by stuff you can't change anyway.
And this strategy, it goes deep. As Andy Andrews reminds us, staying positive also means letting go. It means actively practicing forgiveness, not just for other people, but, and this is so important, for yourself. You just can't leap forward if you're carrying the weight of past disappointments.
And the final piece of this foundation is gratitude. Author Ray Edwards has this amazing concept he calls a gratitude flood. He literally sits down and lists every single good thing he can possibly remember from the past year. This creates this incredibly powerful positive mindset. And from that place he asks, what do I most want to be thankful for 1 year from now? And boom, that answer becomes a huge focus for the new year.
Okay, part 2. Now that we've got that solid foundation, we're going to shift from reflection to intention. It's time to become the architect of your winning year, to create the blueprint for your success.
Now, this might just be the most counterintuitive strategy in the entire playbook. Before adding a single new thing, high achievers subtract. Ray Edwards says he ruthlessly eliminates the bottom 30% of his activities. Think about that. This isn't about time management. It's about attention management. It's about creating the space for what truly matters to flourish.
And that's the absolute heart of it. Our culture is constantly screaming that the path to success is paved with hustle, with adding more and more to your plate. But the reality for elite performers? True success comes from focus, from the disciplined pursuit of less, but better.
This quote from Derek Halburn just captures the mindset perfectly. I mean, it's easy to quit things you hate, right? The real discipline is in quitting things you might even enjoy, but that just aren't moving you closer to your big goals. It's tough, for sure, but it's a necessary part of the game.
So once you've cleared out all that clutter, it's time to set your targets. But here's the key. High achievers don't just set logical, boring goals. They set compelling goals. They tap into their why, and they focus on the enjoyment and emotional energy that's actually going to fuel the journey.
Oh, I love this from Dave Ramsey, because it's so simple and powerful. He starts with a feeling, what will make him smile? And once he connects with that emotion, he finds that all the practical, tactical planning just becomes almost automatic. You see, emotion is the fuel for execution. But let's be real for a second. A big, compelling goal can also feel pretty intimidating. So the next strategy is all about making your mission manageable. You do this by chunking it down. You take that massive, year-long ambition and you break it into smaller, less scary, and way more achievable pieces.
Entrepreneur Chris Ducker has this brilliant, super simple system for this. He starts with no more than 3 big goals for the entire year. That's it, just 3. Then, he breaks each of those into 4 quarterly goals, which, feel like major wins on their own. And finally, he breaks those down into monthly actions. This turns a giant, overwhelming mission into a clear month-by-month to-do list. So smart.
And now for our final section, execution. Because let's face it, a great plan is useless if it just stays on paper. So how do you actually make it all happen? Well, this is where the plan meets reality.
A goal without a time slot is really just a wish. High achievers understand a simple, powerful truth. What gets scheduled gets done. They live and die by their calendars because if you don't schedule your priorities, trust me, someone else's agenda is going to fill up your time real fast.
Take Amy Porterfield, for instance. She does this for her entire year at once. She maps out all her promotions, her content, and, this is crucial, all of her vacation time on a giant wall calendar. And why? Well, like she says, it's not about being rigid. It's about creating the clarity to work with purpose every single day.
And that leads us to our final and maybe the most overlooked strategy of them all. Rest isn't what you do when you're done. It's a core part of the work itself. High achievers like Andy Stanley and Ray Edwards, they intentionally schedule serious time off. We're talking weeks at a time, just to recharge. They treat rest not as a reward, but as a non-negotiable strategy for peak performance.
So there you have it. The playbook, the actual system used by some of the world's most successful people to design and execute their best year ever. So now, the big question is, what are you going to do with it?
It really is a simple three-part framework when you boil it down. First, you build the right mindset, looking back with reflection and gratitude. Second, you design the strategy by eliminating the excess and setting goals that really fire you up. And third, you guarantee execution by scheduling what matters most. Mindset, strategy, execution. That's the whole game.
Look, this isn't about overhauling your entire life overnight. It's just about starting. So I'm going to leave you with one final question. Looking at this playbook, what is the one single thing? Maybe it's a day for reflection, maybe it's that vacation, maybe it's a quarterly planning session. What's the one thing you will pull out your calendar and schedule right now to begin? Because that single action, that could be the start of everything.
If you enjoyed this summary and want to go deeper, join the Ascent membership. Inside, you'll elevate your professional journey with industry-leading courses, expert training, mini courses based on powerful personal development books, and specialized personalized coaching for UN, NGO, and humanitarian careers. Don't just read, apply, grow, and transform your career. Click the link below and start your journey with Ascent today.